All right, R2, we're back with another drawing activity here. This one, we're gonna be drawing some figure drawings using some cylinders, spheres, and squares, just trying to figure out how to draw and pose a human body. What I want you to do is have 3 or 4 on your page here, just to show us how you can move the body around. Start with one facing directly at the viewer, one at a 3/4 angle, and then 1 or 2 that you pose in different ways. As a little aid today, we're gonna get these guys out, our little mannequins that we can use to help pose, to draw and figure out how big each joint and segment should be. So we'll use this guy as our little reference to figure out, how long to make his legs and that kind of stuff. All right, so here we got a fresh sheet of paper, and I'm gonna start, instead of drawing his head round, I'm gonna make it a square. So we'll just have like his little face will be like this. Just a rectangle, no need to get too complicated. And then we'll do a little neck here, like so, and I can draw his chest. Let's take a closer look. So for the chest, I'm just gonna do sort of a trapezoid shape. So he's got some little shoulders here, and then his chest is gonna come in kind of like this. If we're looking at size, make it about as tall as his head from here to here. That'll be the chest. Have like a little abdomen area, his little abs, and then hips. The hips are gonna flare back out slightly. And again, there'll be another width or height about the size of the head, maybe a little shorter. So that's our torso. Now we can think about adding some arms to him. So for an arm, just do a rounded shoulder. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna look at this guy. And if I look at his elbow joint, it ends right about here where his hips end. And his wrist ends right underneath his little hips. So when I draw sort of like a cylinder type shape here, it's gonna end about there. And it starts wide up here, gets narrower as it gets here. A little circular joint. Bring his forearm down about here. Circular joint, and we can add his hand. Same thing on the other side. Circular joint. Bring it down. Now for his legs. If we look at this guy's body, from the top of his head to his hips is the same width or length as from his hips down to his feet. Can't quite see that exactly. So, however tall I made this, I'll make his hips or his legs as long as his body here. So what I do is I just measure it, and I know that's where his feet are gonna end. So big old hip joint here. And let's say his knee's gonna be about there. Hips get wider at the top. Little circle joint there. Bring his calves down. To indicate a foot, we'll just do a little hump shape because they're pointed right at us. So there we go. There's our first little mannequin drawing. Second one, I'm gonna turn him to the side so he's sort of facing the other guy at a 3/4 angle. And you can use a little mannequin here to help you out, or just kind of like look at an example here of one that I draw. All right. So first thing I'm gonna start with is his head. And again, I'm gonna draw it as a square. But this time I can see the side of it. So remember drawing the cubes and we could see the front and the side. So like this is his front of his face. He's a happy little guy. Come on, focus, there we go. All right, here's his little neck. And then I'm gonna draw the shape of his chest. Now I'm gonna use this line here as his chin. I'm gonna draw my chest going the same angle. And then when the shoulder kicks back like that, it goes at the same angle as the side of his face. He's gonna be like a little Roblox kind of guy here. not too organic. It's gonna be mostly square. So his back from this corner can kind of come straight down, but his chest, we're gonna give that kind of a little bit of an angle. He's gonna be very boxy looking, but that's okay. Say that ends somewhere around here. He's got his like chest here. Comes down. We're focusing more on like the gesture and the form than this looking like a real person. His hips, they're gonna be kind of squarish as well. Flare out a little bit. Now, his arm, circle joint right there. Try to remember the same thing we did on the last one. We bring his elbow down to about here, and his wrist down to his hips. And then for his legs, I'm gonna make how tall his body is here. So from like the end of my pencil to my fingers. So from his hips down to my fingers here, his legs are gonna be about that long. So, nice big hip joint here. Say his knees end about here. He's wearing some baggy pants. And then there's his calf. Starts wide, gets narrow. His feet just kind of point this direction. All right, there we go. I got two, roughly human-looking bodies here. Now, for your third and fourth figures, I want you to take your action guy here. Think about posing him. Maybe he's sitting. Maybe he's like doing a little dance of some kind or in the middle of running. You can pose him however you like. And then I'm gonna set him over here in front of me so I can look at him while I draw. And I'm gonna start my drawing the same way. I'm gonna do his head first, where I can see the front of his face. Side of his face, side of his head, just cube head. This time he's a little mean. The head's probably a little too wide. So chest goes in place the same way. Matching the angle I drew here. Kick his shoulder back, same angle as the side of his neck here. And then I gotta figure out, what kind of angle is my little mannequin at? This guy's sort of leaning back a little bit, so I'm gonna like draw him tilted back. His hips sort of pointing down. He's kind of running, so his body's in like weird little running pose. One arm is kicking backward. I'm gonna try to get the length, the correct length if I can. I'm just kind of estimating. One arm, his hand is down. And then with his legs, one leg joint here. This leg is coming forward. And the other one is pushing off the ground. Yeah, I know, he's not bad. He's in a jaunty little pose there. So try to give me a couple figure drawings here. Pay attention to how big each part is compared to the next part, and you're good to go.